Hi, I'm Bob Lent, and welcome to another edition of Actual Criticism. Today we're going to be focusing on the newest Quentin Tarantino movie, The Hateful Eight. And I gotta tell you, this movie was actually pretty good. And the reason that I like this movie was because the characters. It was a character-based plot. The plot of the story was so simple that it was more about putting this ensemble of characters inside the story that really was the interesting part. You had these characters that had, in every piece of dialogue, you got a little bit more of their character, a little bit more of a person outside the context of this movie. That goes to good writing, and that in all just goes to a good film. Most blockbusters follow this structure of this impending doom. Like, they don't figure out this problem in 10 hours, the whole world's gonna explode. And then, hero gets the girl, and then, starts on the varsity football game. This movie, because of these characters that were so interesting and dynamic, you couldn't really piece together where this movie was going. And that's really fun. That's really what good filmmaking is. Every time I tried to call where this movie was going, I was wrong. Because you don't know these characters. You've never met them before. So how can you? When you get a storybook blockbuster with the generic hero, you know where it's going. He's gonna win. In this context, with these characters, they're so flawed, there's strengths, there's weaknesses, they have depth to them that really makes this movie so much more than a Western. And it really goes back to what made movies good in the first place. And that's really where you can tell just by the way he films this movie, Quentin Tarantino films this movie, that he's trying to get away from the blockbuster money-making movies and actually make art, make film, craft a story. And that's why this film was good. Because you can tell that this movie wasn't made to make money, it was made to tell this story. This movie's long. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Movie was very long. It was 3 hours long. Like, I walked out of the movie theater and it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, wow, that was long. But at no point did I feel like it was dragging because of how complex and interesting these characters were and how they pushed the plot. I think there's one flaw in this movie, one glaring flaw, I would say, in this movie, is the fact that he puts a narrator to narrate something that could have been easily shown. And throughout the film, you have Sam Jackson's character, who is more kind of like a Sherlock Holmes. He always is feeling something's not right, but he's not paranoid. He just knows something's wrong. The inconsistency in the story and how he traps people into going back into their lie, and he knows they're lying. And for him to put the narrator in there kind of just overshadows the thought and all the other shots that he put in there for Sam Jackson to figure out what was actually going on. If you're just gonna throw that out there, then why even have all those little references? I would have liked to have came up with that answer myself and been more satisfying for me. But not to say that the end of the film wasn't satisfying. It was. It concluded in the only fashion that Quentin Tarantino can finish the film, a lot of blood, but it gave you with a sense of closure that was like, that's pretty much one of the only ways this movie could have ended. It fills me with hope where we have a culture of big blockbusters, no story, just a lot of action, where you have characters develop and push and project this story to us. It's a great movie. It was a fun movie to watch. There were parts of this movie that had you laughing, and other parts that were like, wow, that was really serious. When I go to the movies, I want an experience. And that starts with a character-driven plot that allows the story to unfold in an exciting, unexpected, organic way. And that was The Hateful Eight for me. Don't be fooled. This was actually a good film. Join me next week when I critique The Revenant.